This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to Dark Talk. I'm Dan, and my guest this week is a man so dangerous that he has the nose of a top dog breeder. It's Danger Mark. How's it going?
I'm not too bad. Apart from this stupid film you saddled me with again.
It's a recurring theme.
Yeah, I think you only get me out for these baffling films.
Well, last time we did Serpent's Path, and that was a bit more of a grim experience.
I mean, today's offering was grim, but I think in a much different way.
Yeah, this one had its grim moments, but it was a lot of fun, I thought.
I'm not sure I would have gone that far.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Female Prisoner, number 701, Scorpion, from 1972, a women in prison movie directed by Shunya Itō. Had you ever heard of or seen this before?
No. But you know, when we were talking about Premonition, and you'd found a film where I hadn't actually seen a member of this cast in any other film.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, that's not true of this film. I have seen one member of this cast in another film.
Go on, which one?
So Otsuka is in a film whose English title is Sex and Fury, although that's not what it is in Japanese. I'm blanking on what it is, but that's what it's known in English, which was, again, when you pitched this film to me, it was one of the films which inspired Tarantino's Kill Bill.
Yes.
Because he does like his, is it fair to call it 70s schlock?
I think it is. More politically correct might be genre movies.
Let's go with that. And Sex and Fury was in a similar vein. And the lady who played Asuka is in both of them.
Yeah, she's also in Lady Snowblood, another massive inspiration for Tarantino.
Genre film.
Genre film, yeah. Yeah, this was a first-time watch for me, and every little thing I was taking notes. I was like, yep, that's from Kill Bill, that's in Kill Bill, this is in Kill Bill.
If there's one thing that Tarantino can not disguise, it's his homages.
And his hate for Paul Dano.
Why does he hate Paul Dano?
Because he's a fucking idiot. Like, he makes great films, but he doesn't like Paul Dano or Matthew Lillard, so... Yeah.
Oh, because Tarantino is an idiot, yeah.
Yes, sorry, not Paul Dano. Yeah. I love Paul Dano.
Yeah.
Paul Dano is much loved.
Yeah, well, I think the first time I saw Paul Dano, I was like, I don't like this guy's face. I can't be dealing with this. And then I think I saw him in something else and then realised that actually, no, he's okay.
I think specifically with Tarantino, he said that Paul Dano was the weakest part of There Will Be Blood.
I mean, considering half of that film is Daniel Day-Lewis, I think it's a
beating
fair
up Paul
comment.
Dano.
Yeah. I think it's a fair comment. I think it's underselling Paul Dano, but on its own, in a vacuum, to say that he was the weakest part of that film when, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis is chewing the scenery in a most spectacular fashion, a fair enough comment. But Tarantino's a prick, so. Have I shared with you my thesis on Tarantino?
No, let's hear it.
Basically, he's at his best in his early career when somebody was there to basically wind him in. Like, I love the films he wrote, and some of his early films where he directed them, but still had to keep the runtime to 2 hours or less. I love them, but his later career where he's got no one to just give him a shake and tell him to get a grip are not so good.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard what he was saying about Paul Dano, my defense mode switched on. I was like, fuck Tarantino, Paul Dano's ace. I'm going to go back. I was like, what's Tarantino ever done for cinema? And I was like, oh yeah, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Again, I didn't mind Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but Jesus Christ, I haven't watched it all because there's just too bloody much of it.
Yeah, I actually went to the cinema to watch that in an empty cinema, and one afternoon, and I sat down in my seat, and literally the empty cinema, these two little old ladies came and sat directly next to me in the empty cinema. So it looked like the three of us were watching it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, he definitely can't hide his references.
Foot fetish?
Because, well, that does come up in this film, doesn't it? I'm
Um,
sorry, just for a brief second.
Oh, I'm glad I missed it.
Okay, well, there's just we'll cut this bit out, and when we come to when we come to the scene, I will point it out why it inspired Tarantino.
Yeah, so this film was directed by Shunya Itō. This was his first feature film. Still alive today, 89 years old.
Jeez.
Just looking up a quick short biography of him. He won Picture of the Year at the Japanese Academy Awards in 1985 for a film called Grey Sunset, which was a story of a man suffering from Alzheimer's disease. And because it won Best Picture at the Japanese Academy Awards, it became Japan's entry for the Academy Awards for Best Foreign Language Film, instead of Akira Kurosawa's Ran, which apparently caused uproar in Western media because they thought, well, they just loved Akira Kurosawa.
Well, that, and I think Ran would have been a little bit more accessible to Western audiences because, off the top of my head, Ran is the King Lear adaptation that he did.
It is.
So it actually, like, really brightly coloured, and your main character has it's three sons in this, not three daughters.
Oh, okay. This is my son, Cordelia.
Yes, that's exactly what they were called as well. Yeah, I'm spacing on what the third one was. Oh, yeah, he did 3 Shakespeare adaptations. One's Throne of Blood, which is Macbeth. And is it The Bad Sleep Well, which is Hamlet?
Not sure, no idea.
Anyway, it's the third of 3 Shakespeare adaptations that he did. So I can imagine that would have been slightly more accessible if that had been the Japanese nomination.
Yeah. So yeah, he wasn't really a name, and especially if he's going up against someone like Kurosawa.
The good Kurosawa, not the first Kurosawa. I'm not going to say the good Kurosawa after seeing the first of the other Kurosawas.
Yeah, they're both good. They're both good Kurosawas, but yeah, the OG Kurosawa. Yeah. So the film. Let's get into the film. So female prisoner 701, Scorpion. Name is Nami Matsushima, played by Meiko Kaji, who was also Lady Snowblood.
I must confess I haven't seen Lady Snowblood. Is the one we're doing next?
Possibly, if you think you can't deal with 4 of these female prisoner Scorpion films, then maybe we should go for Lady Snowblood now.
Okay.
Yes. So she is our protagonist in this women in prison exploitation / genre film. So the film opens up, and we open up to this self-congratulatory ceremony for these fuck-ass guards, and it's interrupted by a good old-fashioned jailbreak. Hey, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Well, there's swamps, anyway. Swamps, Alsatians, and a prison guard with an extremely dodgy mustache who, is bafflingly the only person in the entire film with any sort of facial hair. I don't know, I just found that very bizarre.
Is he the one that's always wearing black aviator sunglasses?
Yes, apart from when somebody else starts wearing aviators as well, but for slightly more obvious storyline reasons.
Yeah, so we see 2 female prisoners running through this long grass and marshy swamp, trying to evade the guards and the dogs. One of the girls, Yuki, pauses when she has pain and blood running down her leg, and she's assured by Nami that it is only her period and she hasn't had one since she's been locked up in prison. And instantly I was just like, well, now she's free. She's a woman again. You know, now that she's out of the man's prison, she can embrace her womanhood again. I quite like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
The first of 2 references to that, now that you mention it. In the theme song, they mentioned that as well, which, as a man, I really have nothing to say about, to be honest.
They're caught by a dog, which latches onto Yuki, but Nami just beats it off. And they're then ambushed by this this rifle-wielding guard with the sunglasses. Somehow he got the drop on him. He's like hidden in the bushes ahead of him, and he just leaps out and scares the shit out of him.
Well, one was too busy being mauled by a dog, and the other one was too busy getting a very large wad of rotten tree and beating aforementioned dog with it.
He holds him up at gunpoint, but he's distracted by a duck, which is like a startled duck.
And then the gunfire starts. I think the theme of prison guards not being Japan's best and brightest It's very much something that comes back around in this film.
Yeah. I have a quick question for you. You might have the answer to this one. So what is a female prison in Japan like in the 70s? Could there have been that many female prisoners? Surely there must have been, yeah.
I have got no idea. My knowledge of Japanese prisons is thankfully extremely limited. Basically, as far as I know, they suck to be in, and this is a deliberate choice on the part of successive Japanese governments, and that's about all I know, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've heard they're extremely strict from a guard perspective.
Yes.
Whereas like a Western prison might have more inmates on inmate violence running thing, inmates running the show.
Yeah, whereas it's very much non-stop brutality. I think I saw a relatively recent film starring Jared Leto as a Western man in a Japanese prison, and it turns out that he's somehow some sort of gangster.
If only we could manifest that into reality, I'd be a happy man.
But Jared Leto in prison.
Oh, fuck him, man. Fuck that dude.
What's he done now?
He's just weird. He's just fucking weird. Weird to the point of, uncomfortable, Allegedly.
Right,
Allegedly.
Okay. I mean, 30 Seconds to Mars were good back in 2007. About all I can say about him with any confidence.
I mean, I'll give it to him. He was very good in the Blade Runner sequel for the limited screen time that he had. I thought he was very menacing.
Mondo
very
creepy.
Strange. Yeah. But then,
Mondo creepy.
I just don't understand how he's in all these box office bombs. He was obviously Morbius, which tanked. And now he's Skeletor in the Masters of the Universe remake again, which is how does he keep getting work?
I think there's a few people who bafflingly get work, presumably because somebody likes them and will put up with their bullshit no matter what happens.
Let's move on from that gobshite.
Okay.
So, opening credits, montage of all the nude female prisoners having to do demeaning and pointless busywork tasks while naked. What is this climbing frame that they've got to go over?
The only guess that I've got is that it's some kind of search, given the way the guy underneath is just gawping at them in a completely lecherous manner.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem very practical for a search. I just thought this was like a humiliation ritual. Well, it could be both.
I think it's very much 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I have seen somebody pull that guy's face, or something very, very similar to that guy's face. The guy who's looking up at them. Went to Japan last summer. Wonderful experience. And on the first night, we went to Korakuen Hall to watch some boxing on a Monday night, which, this is possibly not like top flight boxing, but we had some nationally ranked fighters on the card, and anybody who has watched any amount of Japanese pro wrestling will have seen a show from Korakuen Hall. It's really strange because to people who've not heard of it, I don't know what to kind of compare it to. I was thinking maybe the ECW arena, but I don't think that's quite right because the ECW arena is inextricably linked with ECW, even though it's not been called that for many, many years now. But it's still that sort of almost a holy place. But Korakuen Hall is 4 or 5 shows a week, a mix of wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, MMA. Saw all of those things while we were out there in Korakuen Hall. But yeah, bearing in mind this is Monday night. This is Monday night boxing. Obviously with it being boxing, they've got the ring girls, the girls with the round cards in reasonably short skirts. And there's a family not too far from where we are. We're kind of on the floor, on proper wrestling style steel chairs. But there's this bloke and his son who are obviously pretending to look up these girls' skirts every single time they come out. And bearing in mind this is like boxing, they're coming out before each fight and also in between each round being 3 minutes long. This is, quite a few times. And the dad, I swear, was pulling similar faces to that guy. What made the entire thing the most baffling was there was a woman and a girl there with him. The wife and daughter were there too while this is going on every single time the ring girls come out. Very strange.
Was the dad Jared Leto?
No, not as far as I remember. No, as I say, he was pulling a face very similar to the guard in that opening sequence.
Yeah, the Vag look.
So let's just leave that at that.
Yeah, let's. Yeah.
The boxing was really fun. Anybody who's read Hajime no Ippo, boxing-themed manga, the author of the manga actually owns a boxing gym. I think from the success of his boxing-themed manga, he opened a boxing gym / stable, and they actually sponsor fighters. And they did have one fighter from that gym on the card. The actual author was there, completely blanked us. The fighter was lovely, took time to say, we said, good fight. Really enjoyed the show. You were extremely unlucky because this guy was fighting, I swear, the dirtiest boxer I've ever seen in my life. He should have been booed out of the building, but for some reason he had this massive cheer squad.
Was that Jared Leto?
He might well have been, yeah. But yeah, absolutely spectacular.
Karakan Hall.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where it isn't Karakan Hall, though. This prison.
This prison. Oh my goodness. This prison.
And it is ran by one of the most serious and humorless men I have ever seen in a film. This warden, he is not a happy man throughout this entire movie. He is just very angry.
I mean, it's understandable how he gets angry a bit later. But again, I've alluded to that once already, so I won't mention that. And then, yeah, all the prisoners are wearing, I think the word is smocks. They look like almost tie-dyed smocks with those stripes across them.
Yes.
And the prisoner numbers on the back. And certainly at the start of the film, there's about 5 who are in peach-coloured smocks, whereas everybody else is in the regulation dark blue.
Yeah, so these are the trustees, I would guess.
Yeah, I suppose you'd call them that.
The prisoners who get perks for helping to run the show.
Yes.
I called him a higher caste. Yes, so this humorless and unhappy warden, he is very mad about this escape attempt. So he beats each individual guard in the office, slaps each one, walks down the line.
A scene repeated in Akira.
He then inflicts punishments on the rest of the prisoners by restricting their meals for a week, which seems like, I know this is horrible, but for this prison, that seems like a pretty light punishment.
And by restricting their meals, I mean going into the kitchen and tipping over all the rice and saying, kitchen duties off. Smash. Get out of here. Smash
it of his own kitchen. Yes, we cut to solitary confinement, and Nami has been hogtied and she's facing abuse from the guards and trustees. So they're pouring hot soup on her, and the guards are just beating her up, sticking their batons in her mouth.
Do you want some rice? Here, you can it's on the floor next to you. You can eat it like a dog.
Ugh, God, this is horrible.
Very grim.
She's able to sort of use meditation technique to sort of zone out and give us our flashback, but also to prevent herself from feeling the abuse, I guess. So we see the flashback explaining how Nami ended up in prison. So 3 years ago, the man that she loved, Shigumi, is a fucking sleazeball narcotics detective on the marijuana squad, which I hope is a real thing, because aren't drug laws insanely strict in Japan?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. What was his name? I'm spacing on Sugi's name. It was Tsugi. He was a wrestler, famous, indie masked wrestler.
Oh, yes. Can't tell the story, but yeah, I've just got who you mean.
And he planted drugs. He planted marijuana on a female wrestler's bag. So she got arrested and blackballed until it came out that actually he was the one who planted the drugs on it.
Wasn't that Io Sky?
I think it was her twin sister. Yes. I think it was Mio. I think it was her twin sister. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are wrestling fans who don't know, Io Shirai has a twin sister, Mio. I'm not even making this up. This is actually true.
No, it was Io Shirai.
It was Io.
It was Io Shirai.
Not the sister.
He had planted drugs on either Io Shirai or her boyfriend Nasawa on behalf of one of Nasawa's enemies, I think.
I remember Nasawa was in this.
Yeah, because he hadn't been booked. Yeah, he hadn't been booked for a while, and whoever it was, and I can't find the guy's name, the guy told him to plant drugs on Nasawa and Io Shirai on their return from Mexico to Japan. 75 grams of marijuana, hidden inside paintings of the two. And he eventually held a press conference and confessed to planting the drugs. Fucking hell.
There have been other wrestlers blackballed for actually committing their own dope crimes.
I wonder how many Gaijin wrestlers were ever busted for drugs throughout the 70s and the 80s.
Probably not that many, because otherwise they just wouldn't have been allowed back. And besides, I think if there's one thing that the Japanese are not particularly against, it's drinking far too much. 80s wrestlers, I'm sure they could lay off the beak for a few weeks and just hit the booze all night long. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, so Shigumi uses Nami to infiltrate a nightclub where narcotics are being dealt, or at least there are mid-level Yakuza executives planning this. Her role as an undercover informant is discovered almost instantly, and the bad guys strip, beat, and gang rape her. Shigumi then turns up to quote-unquote save her and arrests everyone for rape and possession of marijuana, and we instead see that he has engineered this whole situation in order to get on the Yakuza payroll, and
either busting a rival or getting bribed to make the charges disappear. It's not really made that clear. I think actually the latter.
That's what I assumed. Yeah, because we get this.
Yeah,
this whole thing is like
really theatrically staged.
Exactly my words. Yeah,
like it's very much something that you would see in a theater on a stage, and it's the first of I think 3 such scenes just that randomly appear in the film.
Yeah, I loved it. Like he's holding everyone at gunpoint by the safe as well, and then we get a close-up shot of Nami on the floor with him sort of stood over, and then the walls behind spins like there's a complete like a secret room spin, and then on the other side it emerges it's Shigumi with the Yakuza boss and him accepting the bribe,
and then walking past and leaving her some money for her trouble.
Yeah, what is this fucking guy?
Absolute creep. Considering some of the absolute creeps in this film, to say that he's an absolute creep is a real statement.
He really is a shit. And this is all heartbreaking for Nami, who loved this man. So she attempts to murder Shigumi in broad daylight by chasing him. This fucking Columbo coat he's got on as well. Like it's this caramel-coloured Mac.
Yeah, but he wears that otherwise quite sharp grey suit, a light grey suit.
Oh, I'll get to his grey suit later on.
But the Mac.
Yeah, at this point.
Oh, the dramatic throw of her cape.
Yeah. So she goes to assassinate him outside the police station with a knife, and it's this slow motion swinging scene. But yeah, she's got this dramatic black cape, and she just discards it in the most, again, like we say, theatrical way possible.
A tuxedo mask out of Sailor Moon style.
Yeah. Sadly, she doesn't get him with the knife though, and the rest of the cops turn up and grab her, and this is how she ended up in prison. So she's got her motivation for wanting to see this through because she hates this fucker.
Yes, to occasionally escape from prison and also do violence to... I don't know, because she doesn't actually do that much violence apart from her escape and when she does escape. Like, while she's in the prison, she does not do much violence.
No, she doesn't know, but you get the impression she's very savvy. She knows how things work, and violence won't do her any good while in this prison. She's quite good at not manipulating, but
sucking it up
things
and,
work.
And enduring,
yeah. So back in the prison, we see that the Peach girls, the mean girls, they're all having a fun time in the prison garden, and one of them, Imune, excuses herself to go and pour hot soup over Nami. Nami's hogtied and can't really do much, but she does manage to literally pull the rug out from under and drench this fucker in boiling soup. This is like Rorschach in prison.
Yeah, very, very, very strange. Because this is also at a period where there's no food for anybody else.
Yeah, no food except weaponized soup.
Yeah, because she didn't seem very nice, this Imune, at all.
No. Well, at least we don't see her again for the rest of the film.
No.
Yeah, she's rushed by the guards to the graveyard. Nami is subjected to more beatings from the guards, and even that sunglasses guard that ambushed him earlier is there. He's still got those stupid-ass sunglasses indoors. Deep, dark pit of a room, and he's still wearing them.
Sleazy drawn-on a moustache of his.
We do see later that Shigumi on the outside has now been promoted promoted in the police, and he's wearing this smuggest grey suit you can think of. He just looks like, yeah, I am the big I am, you know?
With his Antonio Inoki-looking Yakuza boss.
That's exactly what I got wrote down. He looks the spitting image of Inoki.
He doesn't have Inoki's chin, but if Inoki had like a normal sized person's chin, then yeah, like same hair, same I'm in charge kind of face as kind of 90s era Inoki.
Probably runs his operation in a similar way as well.
Or just slapping people. You ever seen that clip? He's like backstage at some stupid TV prank show, and somebody dressed as Spider-Man just kind of falls out the ceiling, and he just starts slapping him.
You've seen the one where he got so pissed off at this Luke Gallows match that he came out and just like stopped the match.
Yeah. Like this match is awful. I'm sorry for inflicting this upon you fans. I'm gonna now beat up Luke Gallows for it. Well, not really proper beat him up. Just give him a slap, I think.
Yeah. So Shigumi and this Yakuza boss, they're worried about Nami because they've heard about the jailbreak, the attempted jailbreak, and they're worried about her because she knows the details of their operation, but she didn't testify in court because she still felt love for Shigumi. So they believe that she's planned to break out of jail and do them some harm, which, I mean, yeah, they're right.
I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible chain of events.
They plan to have Nami assassinated by another inmate and make it look like an accident. Now, this inmate is named Katagiri, who is a former drugs mule that Shigumi arrested. So, yeah, just the men in this film are just awful to the women.
And the women in this film are all awful to each other.
Yeah.
Gotta say, Katagiri was my favourite character in this.
Yeah, I
thought she was great. I thought she was great.
So during a rigged dice game back in the prison between the oranges and the normies, one of these noobs is about to bet her tomorrow's dinner on the outcome of a dice roll. And Otsuke, a veteran inmate, points out the game is rigged. She's using fake dice, dice that roll odds and dice that roll evens. So this annoys Masake, who is she like the leader of the oranges?
Yes, I think so.
Definitely the most sadistic of the oranges. So in the showers, Masaki places a lockpick in the uniform of this veteran inmate in an attempt to frame her for trying to escape. But this fiendish plan is foiled when the guards find it in her uniform instead. So they're about to lay an ass whooping in on her.
Yes. I was like, it wasn't me. It was her. It was you. And a big brawl ensues through the shower.
Yeah. So Nami saw her planting this on the uniform, and Nami swapped it over to her uniform. And then she sees that Nami is responsible for this, and then this big brawl through the shower. If you wanted to take us through the brawl through the shower.
Well, the shower room seems to be the only room in the entire film, let alone the prison, where anybody seems to be allowed to have any fun. The only genuine smiles seem to be completely naked women. The shower.
Yeah, I think they're kind of framing it as this is the one space where the men don't. No, this is the one space where the guards tend not to give them any hassle. So it's a lot more lighter for them.
Possibly. But then a brawl ensues.
But a brawl does ensue. So Masaki, she runs from the guards who are about to kick her ass, and she runs headfirst into this glass door.
Oh no! Nami slams it on her head. She goes through and then slams it on her head.
She's now given Masaki a weapon though, so Masaki picks up a shard of this glass, and again we get this theatrical way this is all shot. The lighting in the shower changes to this dark lighting, and Masaki,
she gets some full-on Dub Matsumoto face paint out of this as well.
I got Bull Nakano written down here.
No, it's Dub Matsumoto. I'm absolutely certain of it. But yeah, I think Dub Matsumoto was a little bit later, so I think Dub Matsumoto borrowed it from her. But yeah, it's Dub Matsumoto, not Bull Nakano.
It looks cool as fuck. Anyway, it looks cool.
It looks cool.
She transforms into a demon,
especially as she's bleed. Yeah, I think that's what they're going for here. Absolutely, what they're going for here.
Yeah, so she chases Nami around the shower like just some kind of monster, and she eventually catches up with her, and she takes a swing, but Nami ducks, and she accidentally gets the warden in the eye with this glass
right in the eye.
Fucking right in the eye.
Right in the eye.
But he no-sells it. He just stands there no selling it with this gigantic shard of glass sticking out.
Yeah, it's telling his droogs to sort this shit out.
I know, yeah. He's like, without crying out in pain or anything like that, he just uses this as an excuse to just like shout at his own guards, and then he can strangles her to death.
In front of everybody.
I really liked this scene. I thought it was shot so well.
It was, yes. He had a massive chunk of glass hanging out of his face.
And that'll lead to the scar that he has for the rest of the film.
Well, he wears a pair of aviators of his own, but with the one lens completely blacked out.
So the rest of the prison is punished by having to dig holes outdoors and then fill them back in. And it looks like all the orange trustees have been demoted back to blue, like the rest of the normies. And Shigumi visits the prison, and he speaks with Katagiri, who is one of the demoted oranges. So he offers her a way to get out of the prison on parole if she kills Nami and makes it look like an accident. And he can't help himself, but like as he's driving off in that Jeep, he turns around to stare at Nami, who's like, I don't know, half a mile away digging this hole, and they make eye contact. It's like dun dun dun.
Staring across time and space, they will always know each other. Meanwhile, Katagiri is plotting her
way out of prison.
Her way out of prison.
So Nami is sent back to solitary again, only this time it's not solitary. It's, see, I've got it written down here that it's a honey trap, as there is a beautiful prisoner sharing the cell with her, Kito, but it's not.
I think it's not a honey trap. It wasn't intended as a honey trap. It was a, here's a friendly face kind of thing. But it gets quickly out of hand because this is, as you keep telling me, a genre movie.
A women in prison movie. So what is a women in prison movie without a extended lesbian sex scene? So the two immediately start having sex in this private romantic cell, and turns out that Kito is an undercover guard, and she's sent to find...
So this is where Tarantino gets his love for this film.
Oh yes,
because when Nami turns the passion off, I can't bring myself to describe it. But you can see how noted foot fetishist Quentin Tarantino would have appreciated it.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. So it turns out that Kito is an undercover guard, and she's fallen in love with Nami, and she's in the warden's office
in a uniform.
And she's like, please send me back, please, I need to go. And the warden's like, you weak fool, you've fallen in love with her, haven't you? And then the guy's just like, strip her off and see that she's covered in love bites.
And lipstick marks.
Oh god. So that didn't work.
That's the last of her.
That's the last of her, yeah. So the carrot didn't work, so we'll try the stick. So Nami is then ordered to dig this gigantic hole outdoors while all the other prisoners and guards watch. And she has to dig all through the night until morning. And what are they trying to do? Are they trying to get her to confess to what she's done? They're just trying to break her?
Yeah, a bit of both. Just bully the shit out of her. Dig this hole, and then we'll fill it in while you're still digging it.
Like you say, yeah. The rest of the prisoners are ordered to fill in the hole while she's still digging it. And we do see that the prisoner that Nami helped in the shower, that she unframed, she's reluctant to fill in the hole with everybody else. And the digging continues throughout the rest of the day to the point where all these women are being worked to near death, and Nami herself is particularly having a rough time of this. Yeah,
after a while, you've got some helping Nami dig the hole and some just filling it back in.
The futility of life, eh?
It really is. It really just is. And they're gathering around it, and yeah, Nami's having a hard time.
And one of these arsehole guards, decides to give her an even harder time, so he just starts choking her for no reason, basically. So one of the other prisoners has seen enough, and she runs up behind this guard and whacks him on the back of the head with a shovel. I'm going to presume this kills him because there is blood fucking everywhere.
Absolute mess made here. It's more like a sword slash than a bash him. He stands there and dramatically bleeds.
She gets him with the thin end of the shovel, yeah, right in the back of the neck.
Blood everywhere.
The sunglasses guard jumps in with his rifle, opens fire, kills the prisoner that killed the guard, and then we get a full-blown fight between the guards and the prisoners. Just erupts, and some guards are taken hostage.
Is this before or after Nami gets her revenge on one of these people chatting shit from the lip of the pit?
Oh, it's just after, yeah.
Just a well-placed shovel in the lip of the pit brings her down, and I think that's what starts this.
Oh, that's it, yeah. So she comes down, then the guard chokes her, yeah.
And then we get some violence.
We do get some violence. So there's a full-blown riot now. The prisoners are armed, and Nami and Yuki try to escape, but Yuki gets shot and dies in Nami's arms. Now, with her dying breath, Yuki warns Nami that Katagiri fired the fatal shot, which was meant for Nami, I think. She writes writes Katagiri's name in blood on Nami's arm. So basically, Yuki took the bullet for Nami.
Yes,
So,
and this is another one of them scenes that struck me as really kind of belonged on a stage.
Yeah. I love the way the sky is lit as well. It's like red skies.
Yes.
It just looks really cool, really fucking cool.
Yeah, very, very dramatic.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Yuki. Feel like you did not belong in this prison. I feel a lot of these women did not belong in this prison, but you specifically did not.
No, not at all.
So the prisoners barricade themselves in a prison warehouse building, and they form a list of demands which the warden just refuses to accept.
They have hostages. Though.
Oh boy, do they have a bit of poetic justice. These captured guards they've got, they are gang raped by a group of naked female prisoners, which just made me think of Death by Snoo Snoo.
Yeah, they don't seem to be enjoying it half as much as the cast of Futurama, though.
Like, they're literally swarmed by, like, a raging gang of women that haven't seen a penis in...
Yeah, about 4 or 5 each, while the remaining of what I believe is 60 rioting prisoners are dancing and clapping and singing along.
Oh, I know rape isn't funny, but this was funny. These guys deserved it.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. When all this subsides, and they're putting together a new list of demands, what we want is food for 60 people and also Matsuyama. As far as I can tell, those are the 2 demands. And an end to the bullying, torture, and beatings.
Yeah, well, that's never going to happen, is it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so Katagiri's been stirring up shit, and she tries to blame Nami for everything that's happened. So yeah, they demand that prisoner 701 be sent in, and the warden agrees because...
this is the only one of the demands that gets met.
Yeah, because A, he believes that it will relieve some tension in the group so they can, like, beat up Nami, and B, he hates Nami, so yeah, this is like win-win for him.
Yeah, I think he just wants them to wear themselves out beating the shit out of her.
I mean, he's right, because they literally string her up and hang her in the warehouse, like hog tie her, hang her up, and they take turns like whipping her and beating her like a piñata.
And then taking her down and kicking her, and then Katagiri has a great idea to get one of them very 1970s industrial lights that needs a cover because it's so hot, and...
fuck it.
Jeez. She's a bad one, is Katagiri. She is
a bad one, and she doesn't even need to be doing this, because the deal is that Nami dies and it looks like an accident. Now, if you can just frame it in this riot, then there you go. Parole granted.
Yeah, well, I think her next scheme to kill her enemy is somewhat less well thought out.
Yeah, this does not end well for her. So, while everybody is sleeping after a long day of rioting, Katagiri wakes up in the middle of the night, and now, is she attempting to burn Nami or burn down the entire building and escape by herself?
Both, yeah.
So she pours petrol around the building and is about to light it up, but she is caught in the act, and she herself is stripped, beaten, and hung up in a net.
Yes. Trying to claim that she didn't do it. She's innocent.
I don't want to say any of these women deserve what's happening to them, but if any of them do, Katagiri is the one.
She was delightfully and needlessly evil.
Yeah. So the warden agrees to send in a big barrel of food,
complete with breadsticks. Like a full-on banquet.
But we should know better that this warden is a fucker and was never gonna negotiate with terrorists. So inside, it's a fucking Trojan horse. Inside these giant barrels of soup are the guards, led by the sunglasses guard, who just bursts out with a rifle.
Nami takes this opportunity to spark up the petrol.
Yeah, she puts Katagiri's plan into action.
On Katagiri.
Most importantly, though, at some point in this firefight between the guards and the prisoners, Sunglasses Guard loses his glasses, and he doesn't have them for the rest of the film. The only way I could recognise him without those glasses, it was his stupid Beatles haircut that he's got.
It's a moustache. He's the only man in the film with a moustache. Yeah, it was the most notable casualty. I mean, we get, I think, about 20 plus prisoners and a number of guards die, but the main casualty was, of course, Furuya's shades.
Also Katagiri, who she has a horrible death when the fire is lit beneath that net that she's held up in, and she gets burned up.
In the net.
In the net, yeah. So we get this really badass line now: "To be deceived is a woman's crime," and I was like, hell yeah.
What does that even mean? I don't know, but it sounds badass.
It sounds badass, and I think it's the fact that she was in love with Shigumi, and that's...
Another one who was in love with that shithead.
Yeah, so Nami takes a chance and she makes a break for it, escaping the prison, and the guards realise that 701 is missing, but they refuse to call the police and order a manhunt because the warden doesn't want the riot to be made public.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to explain to anybody outside of his prison why he's A, 20 prisoners light, B, missing 4 of his guards, C, missing his own eye, and D, 1 escaped prisoner.
So he vows to bring in Nami by himself, or at least with his own team, you know?
We've got to keep it in-house.
So we cut to the outside world now, and this city, I'm going to presume this is Tokyo.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
Considering it said Tokyo Metropolitan Police on the sign when your man was getting stabbed earlier.
Nami has made her way there to seek revenge on Shigumi and all those that wronged her, and we get this montage of murders and assassinations where she is like a ghostly spirit at this point.
Can I just say that this film was sold to me as a roaring rampage of revenge. We've had 70 minutes of what I can only describe as prison torture porn, and only now are we getting to the revenge, and 90% of it is... You know the scene in The Godfather where they just randomly appear and shoot all their rivals halfway through the film? It's pretty much that.
Yes, it is, yeah. Some pretty cool looking assassinations, though. I think she's meant to embody like the spirit of death, the way that she's dressed.
She looks absolutely badass in that hat and that coat.
She does. She looks so fucking cool. And I'm guessing the blade that she's carrying is the sting in her tail. I'm going to say this is where she becomes Scorpion. Because it hasn't been mentioned for the entire film.
No, I've got no idea where this Scorpion business has come from.
So Shigumi is rightfully worried that 3 Yakuza executives have all been murdered in quick succession. So he calls his boss, Antonio Inoki, and he explains that all the crew are dead, and he believes that Nami is responsible, as he somehow knows that she's escaped from prison.
I think he's just rightfully scared that his plans have failed, because Antonio Inoki does not believe him, treats it with a certain amount of skepticism. And then he picks that moment to turn around, look out the window.
Yeah, he does, because he calls Shigumi paranoid, turns around, and then we see the shot behind him. The door opens, and Scorpion is there. And he's murdered off screen, and we see 701 walk into his room, and he's murdered off screen, but then we see the results of what happened to him. He's hanging by his neck from a noose off the edge of a skyscraper out of his office window. It looks fucking cool.
And this is the point where Shigumi realizes that actually he was right all along. He was right to try and get Katagiri to kill her off, because, I mean, he was possibly wrong to be, a conniving criminal shit, but as far as I can tell, he doesn't take a moment to regret that. Only that he didn't kill Nami.
While all this is going on, we see that, so the nervous Shigumi, he's being tailed by the warden and his men, and
in their plain clothes. Except there's like 4 of them in a car.
So they follow Shigumi to his apartment block, and they spot Nami following Shigumi into the apartment, but they cannot do anything without being spotted, because they're not supposed to be doing this either. But that is the last we see of the prison crew in this film. I'm not sure if they turn up for the sequel. I imagine they do.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Find
out the hard way.
So in the lift, Shigumi is confronted by Nami. She just appears like ghostly in the lift behind him. You're like a Japanese ghost from all those J-horrors that were popular in the early 2000s. She's just in the lift, dressed in black. Fucking looks so cool.
Massive hat. Absolutely enormous
Massive fucking hat, yeah. She pulls a gigantic stiletto blade. He pulls a gun on her. He gets the drop on her. He tries to rape her. He like forces himself on her, like sticks his tongue in her mouth, but she bites on his tongue/lip and runs him through in the thigh with a knife and chases him to the rooftop. Now, this is the reason he's wearing that smug-ass grey suit, because the blood.
The old wrestling rule. If you're going to have a bloodbath, wear white.
Exactly. It looks fucking cool. Various stabbings on the roof. Nami stabs him to death, and she runs him through with a knife. And this bit, like, he throws the knife up in the air as he's dying, and it hits we get this cool shot of the Japanese flag.
Yeah, the knife kind of flies past the rising sun and then lands, and then they stop and pose dramatically.
At one point as well, where they're fighting on the edge of the building, the camera tilts horizontal. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. It's like every time it's shot from a certain way, the camera's horizontal, and then it switches to the other shot, which is the right way up. And then eventually it tracks him back to being the right way up.
Yeah, they get the dramatic pose, and Shigumi then just collapses wide-eyed and dead.
Good riddance.
Good riddance to bad rubbish, I say. And yeah, the movie ends here with Nami having gotten her revenge on at least some of the men who have ruined her life.
She winds up back in prison. The last shot of her is walking back through the prison in her prison uniform.
I smell a sequel.
Possibly with the benefit of hindsight and the entire box set.
Yes, I do. Yeah, the sequel was actually released. Well, we'll talk about the sequel when we get to it, but it was actually released the same year. So I guess these both would have been filmed back to back.
Yeah, it's fairly common for the Toei Company to do that. I mean, I've seen a couple of other 70s films produced by that same company, which are a bit less arty and a bit more straight up Yakuza. Very similar music. Like, this was such a 70s film. I've only seen like a handful of 70s Japanese films, but it was, I feel reasonably confident in asserting that it was a very early 70s Japanese film.
Oh, also as well, the next two. So there's 4 films in total, but the films 3 and 4 were both released in 1973. So this would have been it's like filming Lord of the Rings, basically.
Yeah, just film them all back to back.
So that is it for Female Prisoner 701 Scorpion. What did you think of this one?
So I think there were a lot of aspects of it that I did like. I liked how stylized / stylish it was being, but I thought some of the, extended punishment scenes were getting a bit heavy, and I found some of the cuts between a more, like a straight up film going to the really arty stuff a little bit jarring at times, and I couldn't quite get a feel for when and why it was happening, and if there was any kind of symbolism to the bit at the end with the flag. I have got no idea what it was.
I assumed it was meant to be that the rising sun on the white background is meant to look like a spot of blood soaking through a smug ass grey suit, possibly.
It could very well be. It could very well be. As I say, it was filmed about the same time as that Sex and Fury, and I found that while that too was quite stylish, and there was like quite an artistic style to that, and that was a bit weird as well. I did just find that this Sex and Fury just came together that little bit better and got to the revenge and got to the important parts of the story better, because I felt that, the 3 murders in succession of those other dickheads. Firstly, who were those dickheads? Well, I kind of know who those dickheads were, but they didn't really build up to who they were or why they needed to be shown to be dying.
I assumed they were the crew that raped her in the flashback.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. But I feel like just kind of came through it. A lot to like in it. Very, very stylish and some fun, I suppose is the word. Fun design choices, style choices, which I did really like. I'm just not sure how it came together very well, if that makes any sense. I think I would like you to see Sex and Fury if you can get hold of that, and we can compare them, because as I say, they were both kind of presented to me as that sort of 70s genre film that inspired Tarantino.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll cover that one next.
Because I think it would be an interesting comparison, because I think they're both in that same, not category, but that's how they're remembered, and that's what they're remembered as, or best remembered. Like the band Diamond Head. I brought them up. They're on that Metallica album, Garage Inc., where they just do covers, and there's 1 or 2 songs where the bands probably never really broke through, but they are remembered because they originally wrote the songs that appeared on that album. And I think this is very much one of those cases. I
agree with most of what you've said. Yeah, I didn't find it too jarring though. I just loved how this looked. I would love to see this as like a Broadway play, like a live stage show of this. I think would just be fucking mental to see.
I reckon that would go quite well. I even think like a bit of a remake with kind of modern technology would have been quite good, because I mean there were some scenes where modern camera frames where you can walk without noticing the footsteps would have really helped, certainly around the hole digging scenes.
Yeah.
Like so sometimes the camera stepping following people actually really works as a sort of style choice, but I think there where it was going round in circles and you could see that the steps just made it a little bit awkward to a modern eye. I think
for me, because I knew this is the first part of 4 films, like you say, the end felt a bit rushed. 70 minutes of the prison, 15 minutes of the revenge. I was thinking by the time she escaped from prison, I was thinking, is there going to be enough time? Is Shigumi going to survive till the next film, and that's going to be her revenge film? But that's the only complaint I got about it. I would like to have seen the second film be a revenge, the revenge part of this.
Yeah, but again, I think that's a more modern kind of storytelling take, I guess. I mean, we're kind of used to something like The Hobbit, where Peter Jackson managed to drag 3 films out of a children's book.
Yeah, that's true. Otherwise, though, I fucking love this. I enjoyed every minute of it. Great. So there you go. Thank you, Mark, for coming on the show.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
We will see you next time for who knows what's going to be, a box of goodies.
Who indeed? What films are you going to baffle me with next?
We shall see. But until then, thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.